Welcome back to Socially Selective, you guys, your favorite lifestyle and entertainment podcast.
Steph.
Oh yeah, I'm Jenny.
And I'm Kaycee.
And I'm Stephanie.
Ooh,
we have Stephanie.
Oh yeah. We have a little story about Stephanie. So Stephanie has been a real estate agent for 4 whole years.
Dang, girl.
Long time. She is both a buyer and seller's agent. So that's amazing. If you want to sell your home, you can call her. If you want to buy your home, you can call her. She does it all.
She
does it all. Yeah. And she sells homes all over Northern Nevada. So hit her up. And thank you for joining us today,
Thank you
Steph.
for having me, guys.
I know. We're so excited to have you. And I'm sure our listeners are too. We got so many questions.
You guys blew up.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, blew up our questions. You had so many questions for Steph. But yeah, thanks again. Can you tell us your Instagram?
Yes. So my Instagram is obviously the @ S as in Sam, V as in Victor, M as in Mary, V as in Victor, period, realtor.
Yes. Go check her out.
Want to find her? We're also going to tag her.
Yes.
So you guys can just click the tag. It'll be easy.
I'm excited for this episode. You guys, I know nothing about, let's introduce the topic.
Oh,
We're talking about how the housing market, real estate, and when to buy a house.
Yes.
And I'm not familiar with this at all. So I'm going to be learning a lot today.
Yeah. Our listeners as well. A lot of people had a ton of questions. I feel like a lot of people in our age group are like getting to that point.
Yeah.
Or like have
you need to start learning a little bit.
In that gap. I think it's like from 22 up to like high 20s. It's like everybody that I've gone to high school with, Steph, how do I buy? Steph, how do I this? So 100%. It's a very hot market.
It's on everybody's minds right now too. And everybody should be thinking about it. We're growing, babies.
Go buy a house.
Yeah, go get a house. But we have some questions. We're gonna get started, so we're so excited. This one was asked by a lot of listeners. So if someone is looking into buying a house, Steph, what are some things they should do now to make the process easier for when they do buy?
Definitely 100% is focus on your credit. The sweet spot would definitely be 640 and above. The higher you are, the better you're off. Second place would definitely be having a good amount of savings down. So the more savings you have, the easier it's going to be for you.
Can you give numbers so people know where they should be at?
I'll throw a percent and then I'll give you guys like a number. So say like a house for $300,000, you have to have 3.5 saved. So 3.5 goes towards your down payment, and then I would say a 2 to 3% for your closing costs. So it really depends if the house is in an HOA, the taxes, things like that. But I would definitely say if you can start off as a first time buyer, if you can have 15 grand, that's an awesome start. Don't let not having 20% down stop you from buying a home. 100%, whatever you have now, more than likely I can find a program for you to help you come up with the rest
later.
Yes.
Wow, that's
good.
amazing.
That was good. What other things can people do? For example, when I was buying a home, Julio had got a car the year before, and that fucked us up. Yeah, and so mention that.
Jenny's like that.
Yes. So debt plays a huge role into everything. So if you have a car payment and say you have a huge credit card, pay those down. Pay them as much as you can. Obviously, you don't have to pay them to zero. Obviously, if you have a $20,000 car loan, you can't pay it off. Try and pay it off as much as you can, but don't let it stop you from buying. So if you make a good amount of income, it offsets it. So here's debt and then here's income. It has to have a good ratio of both. So just because you have a car loan doesn't mean that you won't be able to approve for a home.
But what do you think, like the year, they told us like 2 years of making those payments would look good.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say you do get a car, have it for 2 years, and then start looking for a home. It just looks better because it shows that you can pay that. Yeah. And even if it's less than 2 years, I would say still give me a call and let's see what we can do for you.
Only because if that car payment is super low, like say it's a $200 car payment, it doesn't really matter.
It's easy.
Yeah, that's good. And then what about having a job? Can you touch on that? What looks good?
Full-time. Definitely full-time. At least 6 months. So if you've changed lines of work, like say you went from being a hairstylist to working at the bank, we need 6 months of income from this new place in order to count it. If you've never worked before, it's 2 years. So just a rule of thumb. but 6 months if you change careers.
I like that.
Yeah, these
I
are
didn't
just
know any of this.
little things. I know, that you
learning.
don't know until you're buying,
Because you're not taught this in school.
And then it
you
messes
guys.
you
And
up.
which is sad. It's
Yeah.
like we're
so
so
important.
financially
Illiterate.
illiterate only
Yeah.
because, I mean, how do we have classes for what?
Anthropology.
and not learn about this.
Yeah.
Damn.
Literally.
She knows what mitochondria is, but it's like...
But
where-
tell me how to buy a house. and
Exactly.
I
How do I
it's
do my
sad.
taxes?
It's sad. Exactly.
Dude,
and
yeah.
it's like I
Yeah.
honestly didn't know anything about real estate. I mean, I knew the normal because I worked at a bank before, but it's like knowing what the sweet spots were, knowing how much, knowing that it's not impossible, knowing that you don't need 20%.
Yeah.
Knowing that, hey, you know what, more than likely you can buy a home for less than what you could rent. It's like nobody tells
No
you
one
that.
tells you that.
No.
And I think people are also scared to ask. Like,
Yes.
I just wouldn't know who
Yes.
to, like, obviously I would go to you or something, but I would, if I didn't know you, I
She
wouldn't
said.
know.
Obviously, that's the first step.
Um,
So she wasn't on the list, but like the first step is obviously contacting Steph. Duh.
That's
And
why
then
we
she'll
ask
literally
her,
tell
and
you all these
Steph.
things.
There's no such thing as a dumb question. That too. So I get
Yeah.
asked that a lot. They're like, "Hey, Steph, I want to ask you something, but
You're
I
like,
don't want to feel
dumb.
dumb." And I'm like, "No," because I more than likely had that question too at
Yeah.
one point. It's like, how will you ever learn?
these are things that you have to know, guys.
ask.
100%.
But those were good things that you touched on, and I think they're easy to do. Can you mention a little bit more about how people can work on their credit?
Yes. So say if you have collections, I think a lot of people, and I'm not a tax expert, I'm not a credit repair specialist, but a lot of the times when they're health related, like say you went to the hospital and you didn't pay off a bill, it doesn't technically help you as much as you think it would. So if it's like collections for, say, a credit card or something like that, like, hey, you know what, you got a Macy's card and you've been paid off.
Yeah.
100% do not pay anything off until you talk to the lender. So talk to the lender. She'll pull up he or she will pull up all your stuff. You give them your social and they pull up all of your history.
Wow.
And they'll tell you, hey, pay this, and this
Yeah,
off.
and
you'll be good.
And you will get you at that 700. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, I owe the Renown this much. If
Don't worry
they
about
tell
it.
you, don't pay it off. And if you wake up and you're like, hey, you know what? It'll help me sleep better at night if I pay it off. Don't pay it off.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Wow.
do
I didn't
whatever.
know people could do that.
That
Yes.
home is gonna help you sleep, not paying off that bill.
Yes, 100%. Paying a mortgage instead of a rent.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's so
That's good.
helpful,
Yeah,
especially
that's
for
really
people who have like a lot of debt. Like knowing that you can only
Yes, and
It doesn't take
depends.
everything,
Every
you know?
situation's different. Sometimes they might be like, "Hey, you know what? It will help you," or "Hey, you know what? It won't." But in my experience, it has happened that a lot of people with medical bills are like, "Well, what should I do?" And it's like they don't really take it into income, so it's
Yeah.
more other debts.
Okay.
yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Second question is, how is the current housing market? And with that, do you think it's a good time to buy right now?
100%. If you can afford to buy, it does not matter the time or the place or anything. If you can afford it, do it. Especially in this market right now. I think I was telling Chava earlier. I was like, interest rates right now are historically low.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before the pandemic, it was normal to see 5%, high fives, even high fours. And I just sold a home to a friend. I want to say the end of September. Just got out of credit repair. She barely had her 640. She had enough for her down payment and closing costs. She got a 2.75.
Wow.
That's such a good deal.
A 2.75. I remember looking at the paperwork and I was like,
You're like,
"There's
hold
no
on."
way."
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even get that interest rate. And I was like, what did you do? And she's like, that's just what I got. And
That's
it's just
awesome.
rates right now. They're slow. Keep in mind, they're slowly going up. But if you can afford it,
Just do it.
even if you're like, Steph, I have some kind of question, I don't really have that much money down, give me a call and we'll set something up for you. Because with interest rates, the lower they are, the more you can afford. So
Okay.
it's like when
Yeah.
an interest rate's at a 4.5, maybe you can only afford 300,000. But if the rate's at a 2.75, maybe that raises you up to 350.
Dang.
Which makes a huge difference when
On a
buying
home, yeah.
Yes, and I mean,
Huge.
like payments alone,
Yeah.
it's like dropping a whole percent can a few hundred bucks.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's a deal.
Yeah.
It's a deal.
Do it, you guys.
We're going to talk a little bit more about interest rates later. We have a couple more questions about that, but that was a really good start. Our next question is it more affordable to buy a fixer-upper than a new build?
so with fixer uppers, I'm 100% for them. Only because, especially now, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen prices are going up. So it's hard to approve for a home. And it's like, well, I only got 300,000. Like I only approved for 300,000. That doesn't mean that you can't get anything. You can. It's more than likely going to be a fixer upper. But with that being said, when you buy your first home, we're so stuck on looking at the perfect home. So it's like, it has to have 3 bedrooms. It has to have 2 bathrooms, or oh gosh,
or location.
Yes. So it's like
we got real picky and we didn't think we were gonna be.
See, and you know what? It's
little things that you're like, oh my god, I don't like that.
The more you look, the more you're like, okay, this is what I do like, and this is what I don't. And it's like it's just weird little things. As you go, you learn. But 100%. Your first home is supposed to be your investment home, the home you make money off of, and you take that money and you buy your dream home. So me, myself, I bought a fixer-upper. Yeah. So it needed work, right? And we put the time and effort into it. I can tell you right now, we bought in June. We're refinancing now, and we have almost 100,000 equity.
That's awesome. Yes. Because of the fixes that you did.
Yes. And it's little things. Yeah. It's not huge things. Yeah. It's like, okay, paint the house, do floors, clean it up, just do common maintenance. And it's like, if you, like me, myself, I have the eye for it. I know what can appraise for higher. So it's like, Steph, I want to make money. This is what I want to do.
Can you mention a couple of those?
Okay, so first would be mine. The second one would be a friend of mine bought a home out in Sparks, right? It's a three bedrooms, 1 bath. And that one, we actually saved 10 grand on it because the appraisal came in low. So I renegotiated the price. We dropped it to 300,000, and it needed a roof. And he knew that. He's like, I know it needs a lot of work. The doors were kind of hanging off the hinges. The carpet was ripped out. And I was like, hey, we can use this to our advantage. If the home needs work, the seller knows that. So it's like, they have to find a common ground where it's like, I know the house needs work. I'm not willing to put it in. Somebody has to. And it's like, if you take the initiative and say, hey, I'll take it on, I'll negotiate it into the contract. Like, hey, the house needs work. The house needs a new roof. The house needs carpet. If you take 10 grand off, then you got a deal. And it's like, agents, the longer you're in the business, the more relationships you make with these agents. And for me, myself, that's what I prioritize. I want to make friends with the other agents. That way, when you guys want to buy a house, it's like, hey, you know what? This is a really good friend of mine. She's going to make it work. We're okay with the work that needs to happen. We'll make it happen if you agree. And more than likely, they're going to sign. Dang. So fixer-uppers, completely good. I think that if it's an investment home, your first home, hey, Steph, I want another home, fixer-uppers. I have people in all kinds of fields that can help out with whatever it is. The roof, concrete, anything.
Oh, don't we know most of our family?
Yes.
I love that. All our Theos.
Yes. We have a Theo for everything.
Their family.
Yes.
There's a Theo for everything.
100%.
Can you mention what that is, though? Like, when they ask for that, what is that called? The
what
budget.
Do you mean?
Like, when you're requesting a budget for your house? There's a term for it, isn't it?
Appraisal, huh?
No, not the appraisal. So, like, let's say your house is shitty and it needs a couple things, and you're like, okay, I want you guys to help me pay for that. I forgot the name for it.
But like when you're requesting credit or repair credit.
Yeah, repair credit.
So that's yes, what it is. Repair credits right now, I'll be really honest with you, you don't see them frequently.
You don't.
But I can tell you right now, even in a seller's market, I got $5,000 for my last client.
Yeah.
And this is him buying.
And this is Steph being amazing.
If you guys follow me on Instagram, it's the house with a whole shop. Like, it's completely set up. It's a home, and in the back, it's a full-on shop. And I mean, like, with the car lift and everything.
What?
Yeah. So we got him a $5,000 credit, so $5,000 less he has to pay, and it's like...
With those fixer-uppers, do you see less competition? Do you feel like more people are turned away from them?
I think it's... Whoever is looking into them really has to know what they're looking for. So it's like, if I'm looking for a fixer-upper and you're like, Steph, I only really want to put 10 grand into it, let me know that so I can kind of start throwing numbers out. I'm like, hey, you know what? A new roof can take 10 grand, like easily 10 grand.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that and you're okay with the floors, whatever the case may be, we can make it work. But at the end of the day, if you're like, Steph, like, I want to put 20 grand, well, then that gives us a bigger window. So the more money you have to put into it, the more options we're going to have.
Okay.
But no, 100%. I think that fixer-uppers, You have to brace yourselves for them because it gets a little rocky, but they're totally worth it.
Okay, good to know. I always like think it's so crazy when I watch people my age building like their home from ground up, and I'm like, you guys, there's so many other houses out there. Like,
Kaycee's like, oh my god, you didn't get a new house? What?
Oh, you weirdo!
You gotta fix her.
One thing about new builds, they're beautiful. Like they're professionally
but right now
staged.
they're not made well.
No, they're not.
Oh.
So
They're
especially houses that are made right now, like in the winter, that's when like you start getting like foundation issues, things like that. But
because they're busting them out so fast, they're not able to put in that quality work.
So for me myself, I like to check in on the new builds, and it's like, okay, we're making sure that everything's being done the way that they should. New builds are really nice. Like me myself, I wanted a new build. Could I afford a new build? Well, I don't really got new build money right now, so I'm like,
no new build.
If for me myself, a new build would be after I have my investment homes.
Okay.
So if I have 1 or 2 investment homes already, and it can help me pay off this new build of mine, I would 100% be down for it.
Yeah.
New builds do have higher interest,
Like,
not interest, taxes. So typically they're about 1% of whatever the purchase price is. Typically.
There's a lot of things that
I know, like,
a lot of things
I can
that
go
come
through
with
these,
this.
guys.
Oh, I know. That's why we brought you on.
That's why we brought you here.
Thank
All right,
you guys.
next question is, what are some housing programs / grants that make it easier for people to buy a house?
So my favorite one for down payment assistance, there's a bunch of names for them, just depending how much you make, depending how much you make, and then the area. So if you're going to like Fernley, Fallon, kind of the outskirts, there is like a USDA grant that you can go for, and they cover your down payment. If there's another one,
it's
if
in the rural area.
correct.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're like, hey, Steph, I want to be in Reno Sparks. Well, the sweet spot is 640 credit score. If we can get you at a 640 credit score, then down payment assistance, pretty much meaning they cover your down payment. There also is grants that will cover most of your closing costs as well. So not only your down payment, but your closing costs too.
Like, why don't I know any of this? I don't know any of
and
this.
it's like a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a friend right now renting an apartment at the Deco for $2,300.
You're like, girl, you
for a
could have
2 bedroom.
As a whole home.
And I'm like, my mortgage isn't even that much.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
same.
I don't know how.
And
you
why
know?
people are
Yes.
paying that. Yeah.
I think it's just it's information that we just don't have.
Yeah.
But
And then with that, can you actually bring up why it's better to buy instead of rent?
100%. For me, myself, when you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage off.
Number one.
So that's it, right?
Yeah.
Another one is when you can't sell an apartment that you're renting. So if you buy a home 2 years later, you're like, hey, let's see what it's worth. Oh, well, I have $200,000 in equity. If you sell it, well, then that's money in your pocket. You can't sell an apartment that you're renting.
That's just
so
money.
it's like all that
Thrown
money
away
that you're
everywhere.
investing into them
Is not an investment.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
That's so shitty. Like, wow, everyone go buy a house right now.
But there are also some drawbacks, and can you mention the drawbacks too?
So drawbacks definitely could be, I mean,
I think like HOAs,
Yes.
fixes.
so HOAs is a huge thing. I mean, there's going to be some...
Jenny's
I'm like,
I'll
me?
let you know which one.
HOAs. I don't like HOAs.
She's like, HOA over at... I'm coming for you.
Starts dropping names.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are.
When Jenny was like, hit me with some negatives, I was like, damn. She's like, HOA.
Yeah. Jenny's like, you can't think of any,
And
let
then
me tell you.
fixing things too. Like
Yes, 100%.
any fixes that
Yes.
happen, you have to come out of pocket. For
Yeah,
those.
so say
Yeah,
like
that
the
makes
fridge
sense.
breaks.
you
That's
gotta buy
money
that.
out of your pocket. But for all of my clients, I always recommend home warranty. So say you buy the home and it has its fridge, its oven, the furnace, whatever. You're in there like a week and it breaks. The fridge doesn't work anymore. The furnace isn't working. You call that warranty and they'll come out and fix it for like a small trade fee of like $75, and they'll either fix it or replace it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's like,
a deal.
okay,
there you go.
$75, get a brand new fridge. I mean, I can't say no to that. I mean,
would
A fridge that's going to be like true grand.
Yeah.
I know.
You just saved yourself
Sheesh.
money. Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah.
that was a good one.
That was so funny. Can you give us any negatives here? I'll tell you which ones.
I'll tell you the one that I hate
I'm
the
like,
most.
give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I got 3. The next one is, can you talk a little bit about interest rates and why they matter?
Okay.
So you touched on it, but go
Yeah. Interest rates 100% can save you hundreds of thousands. So at the end of the day, your interest rate is what you're paying the bank. So the lower your rate, the lower you pay, the more purchase power you have. So again, we're talking about if you get a 5% interest rate and you get a $300,000 house, your payment could be maybe $2,000. If you get a $300,000 home and you get a 2.7, we're talking about, and don't quote me, but you could get anything as low as like 4, maybe a little bit less than that for 400 less. Mm-hmm. So again, the lower the rate, the lower your payment, and then the more you qualify to buy. So again, right now rates are historically low. I don't think I've ever seen them this low. I don't think anybody has. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to go. A lot of people are like, I'll wait till the crash. And it's like, okay, wait till the crash. And it's like, you're going to get a 5% interest rate. Yeah. So you're going to pay more in the long run either way. It's just people want to see a number right away. Yeah. And that's not how but in the long works.
Scheme of things, that low interest rate is going to help you out a ton. Exactly. Which is something that me and Julio were worried about. That's why we started looking. And they told us the same things that you're saying, that low interest rates are way better, even though houses extremely expensive right now, especially in Reno. The housing market here is amazing.
But even as expensive as it is, the thing about us is that, okay, so prices do go up, but rent never drops. Yeah. No. So it's like, okay, the longer you wait, the more expensive renting is going to be, the more expensive buying a house is going to be. So it's like, at the end of the day, I have had people since I first got my license back in the beginning of 2018, I believe, because I'm going on almost 4 years, and they're like, we're gonna wait till the market drops, and I'm like,
you're like, okay, keep waiting forever, baby.
I'm like, all right. It's gonna,
or even like, that also depends too. Markets are different in every place that you're at. Reno, it doesn't look like the housing market here is gonna crash.
We're so strong as far as the market. We have so many jobs, so many people are moving over here. We have Tahoe, we have everything. We're so close to the lake, snowboarding. You can literally do anything here in a matter of like 45 minutes. So who doesn't want to live like that? But I mean, at the end of the day, another example, a cousin of mine bought a home, I believe it was 2019 or 2020, August 2020, right? He bought his home for $300,000. He just refinanced. His home is worth $390,000, and he dropped his PMI.
That's awesome.
So that's like insane.
Lowered his payment,
PMI is like $200. I think his payment dropped $500.
That's such a deal.
And it's like $500. You know what I can do with $500?
A lot. That's a whole car payment.
I could have a new Subaru right now.
There you go. She said she's trying to be part of the races over here.
With Pam.
She's about to be what is it called? What's that girl from Fast and the Furious?
Girl. Oh, the little, like,
damn,
the
what's
one
her
with
name?
The braid and the...
I don't know.
I don't know her name either, but I know who you're talking about. Should I'll be her?
Kaycee won't. She won't race.
I will be like,
she's like, I'm not down.
Dude, I'm a grandma. I'll have a fast car and I'll be like...
They're going to be revving their engine and you'll be like...
You're gonna be like, I don't even know where that engine is. Don't look at me.
What is an engine?
That's funny.
Alrighty, let's see. We talked about interest rates. So next question, how do you get into real estate? What are some steps?
Yeah. How did you specifically?
Me, myself, it was actually my dad who convinced me to do it. I was so far into banking that I didn't see past it.
I do remember you were working at a
so
bank.
I used to do banking, and like my dream was to be... I don't even remember anymore. I think it was
like a finance advisor or
something like that. I can't even remember. It's been so long. And my dad's like, you make so much money for the bank. Like, I was bonusing every month. I was hitting my goals. And I mean, it's exciting. You know, for me, numbers, sales, that's my, like, I love it, right? All day, every day. And he was like, why are you making the bank all this money? Why don't you make it for yourself? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, why don't you get into real estate? And I was like, no, I can't do that. Yeah. He's like, if you can sell a checking account, you can sell a house. And I was like,
you're right. You're right.
I took my time. I mean, you can do classes online. You can do them in person. And they're fast, right? You can do them as soon as like 3 months, I believe. But what the hard part is passing the test. So it did take me 3 times to pass. I think it's a total. No, I didn't. The time before I almost gave up, I cried. I missed it by 1 question.
And that's okay. And that's okay. You wiped those tears with your money now.
I was like, am I really built for this? Am I really gonna? Am I really? Is this what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life? And so, sure enough, on the third try I passed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a year. If I like it, cool. If not, then I tried. I'd rather know.
Yeah,
exactly. So I was like, at the time there wasn't a lot of real estate agents. I was like, you know what, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, my first year was hard. It was very, very hard. I sold 5 homes, and I was like, if I don't sell at least double of this, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to other agents, they're like, we sold nothing our first year. And I was like,
Steph was like,
you're like, excuse me, say that again.
I was like, right here.
Yeah.
And I sold 5.
Let me record you.
It's hard because there's fees that
People
you have to pay every
yeah.
month. There's you are paying everybody,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the day, it's a matter of like your own will. So you can make as little as no money 1 month, or as much as, I don't know, as many houses
limited.
you sell.
It's uncapped.
Exactly.
It's uncapped. Yeah.
It's honestly whatever numbers you dream of, you can make it. It's just a matter of determination. Because at the end of the day, you're not really working for anybody. You're working for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if I want to take the week off, I can. If I want to take the month of December
like they
off,
just went to Disneyland.
I mean, yeah, we went
she
to
had the
Disneyland,
luxury
you know?
to do that.
That's so nice.
But it's like it's definitely hard, but it's a very rewarding line of work.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of awesome people that I've built relationships with over the years through real estate that, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to meet them in any other way. So you take your class, you pass the test, and then you're a free bird. So you do whatever you want.
Talk a little bit about differences between real estate companies? Like I don't know them.
No,
but
good.
I know there is.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, there's like for myself, I work for EXP Realty. There's Remax. There's Dixon. There's all the names in the universe, right? There's boutique brokerages where it's like just a couple of people. They're all different because they all take different splits. They all offer different things, but they all take different splits. So say, for example, I close on a home and I make 10 grand, right? That 10 grand does not go to me. That 10 grand, part of it goes for taxes because I don't get taxed on it.
Of course.
Part of it goes towards the company, depending what your split is. If you're a new agent, more than likely you're going to be paying a higher split because they're teaching you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that different companies offer.
If someone is looking to be a real estate agent, what are some good questions to ask the brokerages? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would definitely ask training. That's the biggest thing. My first brokerage, they did not train me at all. It was just kind of like you go out there and you do what you got to do, and if you
fail, good luck.
Yes, then it's on you. Just don't fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like don't bring back issues back
and you're
to
like,
the
but
office.
how do you even fuck
And I'm
up
like,
or-
but
how do you know if I fucked up?
Yes.
How do I know?
How would I know?
Exactly. Honestly, for me, so my role now, so I do real estate full time, all day, every day. I'm still an individual agent, but I am also a team lead over at EXP. So my job is to help the new agents and train them. So all the years of my knowledge that I've learned, like, hey, how to cold call people, how to talk to people, how to explain to them why it's better to buy now than to wait next year.
Yeah.
I teach them everything: scripts, what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and what's going to help them, what's going to take them to the next level, you know, like what's going to take them from, no, I want to wait now, to, you know what, yeah, let's talk to the lender. So that's my job. So anybody, honestly, who's on here watching, it's like, I'm interested in getting into real estate, take the class, take your test, and call me.
And call
yes
her.
First step, always.
Yes, call me, because honestly, a lot of the agents that we're working with now, I mean, I have one of the new agents that are there, and she has 7 escrows right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So depending the price point, the
Sheesh.
higher the price point, the more your commission is.
So if you're working on a team, or let's say you're a team lead, do you get part of their commissions?
No,
Is
I
that
do
how that
not.
works?
That's the broker.
Okay.
So the broker gets
Okay.
part of their commission.
Okay.
I get my set salary as long as they're producing.
Okay.
So as long
That's
as I'm
awesome.
helping them do their job, I'm getting paid as well.
And
So
clearly they are. If the girl
Yeah,
has
if she's
7
getting
escrows.
7,
Are you kidding
I
me?
know.
Clearly you're all doing
I had to do the
that.
math
She's
for
killing
her.
it.
She's like, "Can you do the math for me, Steph?" And I was like, "Girl, I already know my commission once that offer gets
Yeah,
accepted."
you're like, I know.
I'm
like,
like,
I know
I'm not the
everything.
best at math, but I get myself
Yeah.
through.
You're
And
like,
so,
when it comes with money? Ooh.
yes.
I know it all.
I'll count a little bit.
And so I did the math for her, and she's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, if all your escrows close, you get about." It was
This
about 50
much?
grand.
That's
Shit.
awesome. In one
Yeah.
month.
Dude.
Ooh.
Well,
That's what
I think
people-
it's like in
like
2 months. Yeah.
Okay. It's still, that's
no,
what
that's
people make in a
insane.
freaking
Are you
year.
kidding me?
Stressful. 100%. I mean, can you see my little flyaways from like the hair that I've lost from the stress? But it's very rewarding. 100%. I mean, if you're the type of person that is very driven,
works
goal
hard,
motivated. Oh my gosh, I can't speak.
Goal oriented.
Yes, 100%. I would definitely say go for it. Is it hard? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have to get past your first year? Yes. Is it I think it's like a 90 something % that most agents their first year
fail.
Just drop it. Yes.
Wow.
Because it's expensive. I mean, you have to pay for your license, association dues, MLS fees.
And
I mean, it all adds up.
Money, then obviously you're like,
exactly. It's more of like a debt where it's like, if I'm not making money, then
I'm only paying.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
But is it rewarding? Yes. The longer you stay in, and the longer you put more effort into it, the more money you're going to make. So with every year, awesome. I've made more and more and more. So it gets like that.
You're growing.
It's motivating.
Yes, exactly.
You're like, you know what? There's no cap. I'm just going to keep going and going and going.
I mean,
and that's really cool because most jobs can't offer that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's like,
true.
This is your salary, this is your hourly pay, and this is what you get, and then that's it. 100% though, looking into a brokerage, for me, if I could go back, I would honestly want to go with somebody who hands-on training. Like, you tell me how you call, make a call, I'll tell you what you have to do to get better, and then go from there. But besides that,
what else?
It's tough.
Do you think
Splits are tough.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Splits are tough. There's a lot of agencies that it's like a 50-50 split.
Oh,
yeah. And then that's not even including how much you have to pay for taxes. So taxes is like 30. You're supposed to take 25 to 30%
before taxes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. So you get a nice chunk of change. That 10 grand, you're gonna have to save like $3 grand of it just for taxes.
That sucks.
Would you recommend, like, if you could do this anywhere in the States, like, where would you ideally want to work?
I would 100%. Nevada's always going to be home for me.
Yeah.
I would always keep my license here. But if I could move anywhere, I think it would be Florida.
Why
really?
Florida?
I
expected like LA or something, like somewhere like.
I love LA. Don't get me wrong. I go over there as much as I can. It's just too packed for me. Yeah. I think there's just having to wait an hour to get somewhere is like, I can't do it. For me, Florida is LA, but better.
Oh, yes. I mean, I've never been
real
to Florida.
estate though.
Real estate's expensive over there, so obviously the higher price points, it's like obviously more money in my pocket. 100%, I would definitely go to Florida if I could.
Like realist, like for Miami? Your job and stuff. Okay.
Huh?
That's Miami or what?
Miami's beautiful. I loved Miami. When I went,
I've never been.
You have to go. I want to go back. I'm like always begging my friends. I'm like, please let's go to Miami. Go back. No, but 100%. Miami is like LA, but just 10 times better.
Ooh,
yes.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes, on your guys' bucket list.
We'll have to save a little bit and go on a little vacay.
Mm-hmm. Our next question for you is: what does your life as a real estate agent look like? Your day to day. Tell us your routine.
Like if you're making a TikTok video.
Yeah.
Like give us a
what would a day in the life of Steph look like?
It is literally you wake up, you go to sleep, and I have had dreams about my real estate deals. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Eat.
In her dream, she's like,
yes.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Yes. It happens a lot, and it's hard as a real estate agent. I think your time is very valuable, you know, so you're always going to be on the phone, you're always going to be on the go. Obviously the longer you're into it, the more business you're going to have, and the crazier your schedule is going to be. So like for me myself, waking up at 8 a.m. Oh gosh, no. I'm at the office by 8 a.m.
I was like, damn, must be nice to wake up at 8 a.m.
You see these bags, girl. These Gucci bags. No, at 8 o'clock, I'm already in the office. I'm making calls. I'm cold calling.
What's cold calling?
Cold calling is when say like you yourself, you go on Facebook and there's like, opt in for more information on buying a home. You opt into our program, right? And it's like,
you put in your info.
Yes, you put in like price points, area, bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that. And I call you and I'm like, hey, let's just give you a little shout. My name's Stephanie from EXP, giving you a call. Ooh. Looks like you requested some information on buying a home in Reno this year. How can I help you? Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, I was just curious, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I go more into my spiel. Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I hit my 5 points. And then you're like, oh, well, you know what? I do want to buy. So it's kind of the conversation when you have with the client. You have to build that trust right away. You only have a few seconds to let them know that you're in good hands. So that's what I do for at least 3 hours a day. So 3 hours I'm calling nonstop, back to back to back to back. And that's what takes your business to the next level. Because if you're not consistently doing that, then you're not consistently working on your business.
So 3 hours of your day. Go to that.
And then after that, it's mostly inspections, appraisals, it's home showings. I mean, these past couple of weeks, I think I'm out of the house by 7:30 and I'm like back at home by 8. Ooh. So it's hard. It is definitely hard, especially if you have a family. Like me, myself, I don't know. I go home and I like take care of myself or whatever. And like I go home to Alexis, but it's like it's hard. It's hard finding a balance in life. And I 4 years in and I still haven't been able to really find a balance because I'm like, hey, you know what? My clients come first. Like my clients, I need to do this, and this in order for me to price myself to do this. So it's like, you really have to be able to be around people who understand, but it's
encourage you to continue to grow.
Yes, because you have to get through those 5 years, and once you get through it, the longer you're in it, the easier it's going to be. Like, hey, if I want to go home at 5, I can. I technically can, but do I really want to? No, I want to keep Jose working. A house over in Cold Springs or instead. And it's like, if that's the house that's going to be for him, I want to be able to make sure that he gets that fair chance to look at it before it gets sold.
I love when you post pictures on your Instagram of like little Hispanic families buying their first homes, and I'm like, I literally look at them and I like tear up. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, this last one, I kid you not, I had been helping her since 2019. Sheesh. Yes, and she was like very particular about what she wanted, and she's like, I want this, this, and this, and I was like, and that's what we're gonna get you, but it's gonna take time.
You're not gonna get it.
We
tomorrow.
Finally got her into. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. We finally got her into the house. She's like, this is what
gets me going.
Yes. And she was like, me and my husband literally walked this neighborhood a year before we met you, and we were like, it would be a dream to buy a house here.
That's so
And when she told me that, I like instantly I was like, it's crazy. And they have like their 4 daughters, and they're like, we just want to be able to like have them have some that's home for them, you know?
That's beautiful.
And I'm like, imagine how much parents sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Like it is insane. Like it's like little things like that where I'm like taking the picture, like I literally had the teardrop right here, and I didn't want to tell her anything, and then I went home and she texted me, she's like, I had a knot in my throat, I wanted to cry, like, but I couldn't let myself. Like, and I was like, I'm right there with you. It's hard. It's not easy. It like anything can happen when you're buying a home. It can fall apart for any little stupid reason, and it did almost happen to us. You just have to get an agent that really knows what they're doing. If something
that cares.
Exactly. Because if they look at you like a dollar sign, then
they're not going to put in that extra effort
exactly.
for you.
And you have to make connections with a bunch of people. So it's like, if something doesn't work out for some reason, it's like, oh, well, the plumbing's bad. Well, you know what? I have this guy who can do it for this amount. It's little things, having connections all around where it helps so much.
That's awesome.
So inspirational.
What else does your day consist of? That's it? Showings, appraisals. You have to be on site for the appraisals?
So when you're the listing agent, sometimes some appraisers do ask you to open the door, and then some sellers are like, hey, we don't want a stranger in our house.
Okay, that makes sense.
You do have to be present. Okay. Some appraisers do have the key to get in. But some sellers are very particular, and I mean, I don't blame them. If you have stuff at home where you're kind of like, hey, that's kind of like 10 grand in my drawer, and I'm like, all right, I mean, somebody's got to take care of it. But no, sometimes So usually my days in the morning consist of cold calling. And then after cold calling, I'm sitting down with the agents and I'm helping them like figure out a goal plan. It's like, okay, well, what's your goal this year? What do you want to do? What do you want to do this month? What's your 3-month goal? And it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm uncomfortable doing this. Like me, myself, I get very uncomfortable.
You're like, the podcast is making me uncomfortable.
So like videos, pictures, I shy away from them because that's just, I don't really like it. But I was like, you know what? If you want to take your business to the next level, you have to do this. If you're not on social media, then
where are you at? You're nowhere.
That meme or whatever.
If you ain't on Instagram, then where the fuck you at?
Exactly. And it's 100%
no, but seriously,
true.
And the TikTok too. TikTok is blowing up right now.
Huge.
I've heard so much on
watching
TikTok.
houses is just so hot.
That's why you know how many people tell me
yes.
You know how many people, it's so sexy.
This girl.
She literally said
that
something.
Dang, girl, it's a little
White
hot in
granite?
here.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I 100% because I'm like, if I wasn't an agent, what would I like to see? And I'm like, I'm so nosy. I want to see what inside people's houses look like.
Why do you think we watch the Real Housewives?
Yeah,
I love to see their freaking homes.
Exactly.
Or
like somebody had put it on Twitter and they're like, oh my gosh, I like wake up and look forward to Stephanie's stories, like her houses. And I put it up. I was like, that's so nice. And I posted it on my Instagram story, and like 6 or 7 people swiped up, and they're like, yes. Like, this is me. And I was like, I kid you not, I almost cried. I was like, wow. Like, people care about my stories. Yeah. Or like,
you're like, okay, I'll
like
put
that.
more effort now.
I'm like, okay, fine. I'll upgrade to a new phone so you guys get better quality.
Yeah.
This is for you guys.
Fine.
Hi, Chava. I was like, I'll videotape all
Yeah, but those were my
I'm like,
videos.
Chava, meet me here right now.
Yeah.
Chava's actually, I'm going to plug in my sister because Chava's getting into real estate photography as well.
Are you?
Go.
Wow.
Yes, he took pics.
He's so on for, let's go.
He took pics for an Airbnb recently.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Here
and
in Reno?
Absolutely.
Reno is so weird
In
with
Midtown.
Airbnbs that I want to get into the market. I really do. There's money to be made
Oh, absolutely.
in Airbnb. I'm about to take Chava's car and be like, nobody call him. He's my
that is my
he's my photographer.
Exclusively Steph's photographer and sisters. All
That
Why are you throwing up gang signs,
No, but
Chava?
seriously.
No one can see you.
Turn the camera.
So if you have any home needs, Chava is your man.
100%.
He takes
Any
all the home
pictures?
pics.
Dang.
You can do it. He does.
Baptisms,
He's got the drones,
Quinceañeras.
Sexy
everything.
pictures.
Weddings.
I seen
Sexy
them hats,
photos.
girl. She's like, this is how you wear a hat, right? I was like, damn, I've been wearing them wrong this whole time. I'm not doing this right.
She's like, is that what's in right now?
I
I'm
like grab it and I put it there, and I'm like, all
put it
right.
here.
All right.
And you walk out like that.
This is what we're doing now.
Can you see Steph
She's like,
walking
no
out?
bra or no bra? Oh, no bra.
I need to know. I need to know.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's funny.
Last question.
This is our last one. So, any last advice you can give people interested in buying a home?
What I could tell you guys is obviously call me.
That's the
But
first step.
get your credit right. I think a lot of people they just don't care for their credit
or don't know.
Yeah, and it's gonna cost you so much.
Absolutely.
The better credit score you have, the better interest rate you can get. There's endless possibilities, but 100% your credit score. If you can have some type of down payment, some type of closing costs, I'm not telling you show up to my front door and say, hey Steph, I got 10 grand, because you don't need that.
Yeah.
I can more than likely figure out a plan for you, where it's like, okay, we'll figure it out with down payment assistance or some kind of plan for you. And honestly, don't wait till the last minute. Don't say, hey, you know what, I want to buy in 2024, I'm gonna wait till then. I would definitely say, even if you're looking to buy far out, talk to a lender now, because more than likely they're going to point you in the right direction on what you need to work on to be ready when you are ready. And you know what? Maybe it is that you're ready now and you're just kind of scared because you don't know exactly what you need. I would 100% say talk to a lender.
Yeah.
Not all lenders are the same. I will tell you that now. And
they are not.
I've worked through a lot of lenders, and I can tell you which ones are good.
And I can tell you because we had a bad one.
No, there like a website for
you
that,
were not
though?
that good.
Like,
No,
there's
I think it's
a rate
more
by
like
professor,
it's
but
just
for
who you
lenders,
know. It's
you
just
know
who
what?
you
That'd
know.
be nice. I
That
didn't
would
even think
be
of that.
Rate my
business.
Rate my
you do get
professor.
ratings.
Yes,
Like,
You rate them at the end.
yeah.
But-
So you
but
can
I
give
mean
them
but if I
reviews.
can see it like all in one
Reviews. So I
website.
would definitely look up the lender if they have bad reviews. Obviously,
They
no.
don't, yeah.
But again, there is not the best lenders out there, and they might, I feel like, kind of push the people to give them a good review.
Yes.
Give me a call and let me know, because more than likely
You know
I have
them?
a lender that fits your needs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, Steph is just a plug, you guys.
And then one last question, actually. What would the timeline be for someone buying a home? Like, how long does it take to buy a home? Just so people know.
So escrows typically are like 30 to 45 days.
Yeah.
I would definitely say give yourself at least a month before. So if you're like, Steph, my lease ends in January, we should have gotten you pre-approved like back
months
in
ago,
September.
maybe. Yeah.
At
So,
the latest.
Good thing to think about.
Yeah.
A month just to buy your home. That's
Yes.
not even looking for the home.
No, yeah. And
So
it's-
how much time do people usually give themselves?
It depends how picky you are.
Okay.
So if you're not picky and you're like, Steph, I just need a house, I would say if you're consistently, because I'll set you up on my own website. It's not going to be Zillow. It's not going to be realtor.com. My website I pay for, and it's connected directly to MLS. So I don't know if people know. Yeah. So realtor and Zillow.com, those websites aren't updated like ours are. So you'll see a house on there that's for sale, and it's technically, it could be already in contract or already sold. So it has happened where people send me homes and they're like, oh,
We're like, already sold
I really
that
like
one.
this. And I'm like, homegirl, this sold last month.
Yeah.
So give me a call. I'll set you up on my search. If you're consistently on the website and you're like, Steph, this home just came up, I really like it, and we're consistently looking at a few houses a week, I would say maybe like a month.
Okay.
A month, especially
and
now.
And then a month for escrow.
Yeah, a month
So 2
for
months.
a month to look, and then a month for actually closing on the home.
Yeah. But that's if all goes well. And I'm
Yes,
just gonna
but
say
especially
that.
now, I think we're so scared that it's such a crazy seller's market that you're like, I don't want to pay 10 grand
Because we got
over
beat
appraisal.
out many times.
It's sad,
I
and
think
it's
it was like
honestly
6 times.
depressing.
People had way more money than us, and I was like, you can fight because I don't got the money to
You're
pay.
like, go
people
do
are
your
like,
thing,
I've
baby.
seen
The
up to
home.
70,000
Yeah.
over appraisal. Yeah,
What?
and that
The
means like
heck?
the house is only valued at 400. They're putting 470.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not as crazy as you would think it is. So all the buyers who weren't really trying, who are like, oh, you know what, I gave it a shot and it didn't work, and people who are like, let's keep looking, one more, keep trying. You can't get unmotivated by not getting the first one.
Yeah.
And
But-
you're not going to get the first one because I cried.
but
We didn't get it, and I was
she
like,
was very sad.
Kaycee.
right,
She was very
it's
sad.
heartbreaking because you start
It's so
picturing
sad.
yourself
Yeah,
in
imagining
it.
yourself in it. Yeah.
But it's definitely not as hard as like when, because I think we bought around the same time.
Yeah.
Like June-ish.
We were on a timeline, though.
Okay.
So we needed to get our home before Julio started school because he wasn't going to be working anymore.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, but we ended up getting our home in 3 months.
Nice.
Yeah, we gave ourselves some time.
And it's especially the way that the market was before. Now it's definitely stabilizing. It's definitely
Also
not as
Christmas,
crazy,
right? Because people buy less in Christmas.
Nobody wants to move in the
Oh.
cold. I've noticed
Yeah.
that every time like it starts getting a little colder,
Their seasons.
You see
it
less
calms
people.
down.
Not just that, but the holidays, so people have gifts coming up.
Yeah.
They can't
Exactly.
afford to leave.
Exactly.
You can afford a home
I can't
right
afford
now.
to leave.
Especially, I think.
But this would maybe be a good time to buy it. Hello.
Yes.
So
Yes.
call Steph.
Yes, in the summer it's a little crazier, but in the winter it definitely
slows
does calm down.
Okay, this is gonna be literally the last one.
I know, we just keep
I
having more.
it's not even like a serious question, but it kind of is. So, what are the laws? Like, let's say you're selling a house someone was murdered in,
Oh, I love this
or like
question.
died in.
This got real dark real
Steph
fast.
was like, "Bitch, why the
We
fuck
always
you
gotta
asking
talk
me
about
this?"
murder.
He's like, you know I'm going to bed. Why you keep bringing up these stories?
Chad always shakes his head. He's like, murder again. Leave.
What, like, do you have to tell the person? Yeah, she did bring up murder on the last
I
one.
always have to say it.
If somebody dies in the home, if it had nothing to do with the home, it does not have to be disclosed. Yes.
We're living in a murder home.
Yes. if like if the roof caved in and killed someone, yes.
Yeah,
Legally,
so you
we
have
have
to-
to
So if
tell
I
you.
killed Kaycee
In this home.
in this home, you wouldn't have to say that.
No.
Oh my god, I don't like that.
You
Ghosts,
don't. Only
dude.
because it's not
Damn.
due to the home. It's not due to the home.
Like, it's like, why even bring
That
it up?
sucks. But different states, different laws.
I would
right?
assume so. I would
Yeah.
assume so.
But
But,
in
that's
Nevada,
kind
you
of how
don't
we
have to.
are. But yeah,
Oh
I
my
would
goodness.
definitely Google the house because
that's
I
a
mean
good
that
Look up some
information
news
is
articles.
everywhere.
That's a good question to ask then,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
That's what I was
Because I
thinking.
do
love
get,
that. I love
you'd
that
be
you asked
surprised
that.
how many questions I get like that. Has anybody died in here? Or
And
is
you're
it-
like,
is there,
no.
Is there? Do you get a bad vibe from this? And I'm like, you asking me that, I'm starting to feel a little funky. Like,
Yeah,
You're
you're
like,
like,
I'm
do
getting
you
the bad
feel a
vibe.
bad
I'm like,
vibe?
do you feel something? Should we walk out?
Yeah.
Should we open a window?
Should we bring
want
some
me to bring
sage?
sage?
Yes, but do it right. Do it right, because if you don't do it right, you can piss some people off.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard.
Well, I heard
mean,
you
I
have to
don't know.
you have to leave your window a little bit cracked.
you
so
have
that
to
when
leave them
you're
open,
sage-
because if you're saging and they're still in there, you're just
You're
pissing
just
them
pissing
off.
off the
They're
bad
like, we
vibes.
can't escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you open a window so they can get out, that's how you're supposed
Yeah,
to do it.
that's what I didn't know you had to open
I
a
didn't
window
know
until my
that.
friend told me. And now I
Homegirl was
open
pissing off
all
all
the spirits.
the spirits.
Casey's like, demons, come after
Get the
me.
fuck out of
Come
here.
here.
That's so funny.
Okay, now that was the real end.
That was
the real end.
actually
Yeah.
the last question.
But we wanted to thank you for coming
No,
on.
thank you guys.
I don't know if you saw my my face the entire time. I was just like, oh my gosh.
I feel like I wasn't. I was like, I feel like I got off topic a lot, or like I was answering other questions fast. Okay,
we need all the.
I still have it here. Like we're still. Are we still recording? Are we on record?
Yeah,
are we still here?
What day is it? What day is it?
Right? No, honestly, that you guys made it very easy.
Good.
Very easy.
I'm glad you were comfy.
Oh, we're still recording.
Yeah, we are.
Oh yeah, we're still recording. This is not the
Anytime I stutter, Chava, that's one less listing I'm gonna send you.
I love that Steph is like ready. She's
Steph's
like,
like,
that was it.
so can you cut that out?
Damn.
Yeah,
No, but
we
seriously,
want
thank
you to
you so
plug
much.
yourself again one last
Thank
time.
you.
One last time.
Thank you,
Where do
guys.
they find you?
Oh, Instagram, svmv
Yes.
dot realtor.
You want to see
Before
some sexy house videos like Jenny said?
Follow
Follow her.
Steph.
I took a
Those
little break,
sexy
but I gotta get
counters.
back.
No,
You
she's
gotta get
coming
back on
back
it.
just for you guys too.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
seriously,
thanks
thank you so
again.
much
We
for
love
coming.
thank you guys. You
Yeah.
guys are the best.
It means a lot. I learned so much today. I didn't know any of
It was
this.
a good
so-
day. Yeah.
Aw,
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
having me.
All right, guys. Well,
Well,
that's
that
the
is
end of the
it, yeah.
episode. We hope we helped you out a little bit. You learned something.
You buy your home with Steph.
And go follow her on Instagram.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
And
Don't
make sure
forget
to give us
follow
5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, we
Thank
love
you.
reviews. Love you.
Bye. I love that Steph was like, yeah, that was so It's like, oh no.
Like we haven't stopped.